The CFL Gambling Podcast Week 8 reaction show and power rankings episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is giving away $15 million in Best Ball Mania 5. Sign up today with the promo code TCESGPN to claim your special first-time deposit offer of up to $250 in bonus cash. Yes, they do have CFL action. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm has the best AI picks and projections, and their football models are almost live. Claim your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Once again, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm.
This is Jerry Glanville, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, brother.
To the CFL Gambling Podcast Week 8 reaction show, power rankings. Keep hitting those fucking drums. Oh yeah, there's lyrics about the huge tits parlay in there. How we doing, folks? CFL Gambling Podcast here, Week 8 reaction show. Another wild week of CFL action, and dude, it's getting dicey in this league, man. With all this news happening since we last went live, we'll talk all about that, and we'll go game by game, talking about each and every outcome and what it means for the future in this fun CFL season as we head to the 111th Grey Cup. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, that is fair. My name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick, aka Cap Bozo.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it. Good night.
That's the way I feel about the Edmonton Eskimos. They are going to pay for it. And good night. YouTube.com. Get on over there. CFL Gambling Podcast. It's a lot of fun. I am joined by my co-hosts who may have a case of hay fever. Give it up for the host of the Old Fashioned Football Podcast, also the UFL Gambling Podcast. Give it up for Justin Mark, a.k.a. No Turn J Mark. How are you, pal?
Doing pretty good. Not fevering right now, though I am noticing I look quite pasty white. I've lost some of my color. Sorry about that, folks. It's a scary sight. You can shit on Edmonton all you want, but I told you Hamilton was going to win that game.
The line made no damn sense. I only went because that cockanimi lime the past couple of weeks, these lines have been fishy. All right. I feel like Pick Dundee and Crocodile Dundee too, when he goes fishing and he just throws a bunch of sticks of dynamite in the Hudson River. All right. That's the way I feel picking some of these damn, that's what I got to do to get some wins here. Now I did have a 500 week. So there's nothing special about me. I can't even talk shit, with the exception of one game that I did feel really good about. But I can tell you this, and this is why a lot of people say, dude, you do a gambling show. Well, yeah, we talk gambling, but love comes first. All right. The games this weekend, two of those ones were absolute fire. I enjoyed all of them, but especially you get a block punt here, you get overtime there. What'd you make of this week's action?
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought it was good. There were some things that were pretty predictable. Like, I mean, we said the Montreal game, take the under, pretty predictable there. You had teams like the Winnipeg and Argonauts that was just a struggle fest. And the Montreal game, I guess, jumping back to that, the heroics of the third string quarterback coming in and bringing them back.
Very fun.
Yeah, that one was probably for me the most exciting one to watch.
Yes, I would agree that. Yeah, it was just they were all crazy games in a way. It's just it's crazy how many people miss out on this league. This league is just great, and I can't tell you how many times I had a conversation with someone say, "You got to check this league out. It's fire." Let's jump into it. But before we do that, I do want to tell you. You're listening to the CFL Gambling Podcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. And yes, the Sports Gambling Podcast launched their 32-team NFL preview. And as a bonus, each team will each team they preview will include a code word. Submit the 32 code word phrase, and you could be the lucky winner who gets a $500 NFL Circa future bet. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast and the SGPN app, which is free to download in the App Store and Google Play Store. All right, back talking CFL. Still haven't hit a huge tits parlay. It's close, sort of, I guess. Felt like a lot of people do at the strip club, right? When they get old Rebecca showing you a lot of love. You know what I mean? Think it's going somewhere? No. Dud. Anyway, look, first game.
Best analogy ever.
Yeah, I'm a real wizard with the words here. Look, wait, is it better like no? Here we go. Let's just stick to this. Don't overthink it, Colby. We got the first game was an absolute fire game, dude. It was. This was the epitome of a gutsy win to me. Saskatchewan at I know I put Ottawa there. That just to test you. It was Saskatchewan at Montreal, as you see the logo. And Montreal really was getting their ass kicked majority of this game. All right. It just wasn't working out for Caleb Evans. And they made a change. And after that, I mean, they still only rushed for 33 yards. This was a gutsy win, though. I don't know how the hell they pulled it out. We hit on this. The under was a smash play. I was feeling great after going 2-0 on Thursday night. I was fucking dancing around the house, but this was a just the epitome of a gutsy win and a fun watch. And I think this is the sign of a championship team to me. When you have adversity like they have, and we didn't know that after we recorded, what day was that? Wednesday. We didn't know that Cody Fajardo was going to, we thought he might be out that game potentially. We didn't know he'd be out. They put him on, what was it? The 6 week. Yep. I mean, that is a huge development in this league because they easily look like the most dominant team, and they pulled this win out of their ass. And trust me, they might really need this win when it's all said and done. Because I think there's some red flags now a little bit. They're like, okay, Caleb Evans was their second string for a reason. It didn't work out for him. But I tend to think, moving forward with how many weeks we still got left, like 12 weeks. Moving forward, I would be very concerned if I was an Alouette fan, because I mean, maybe once Fajardo comes back, but you got to wonder, what will the level of play be like when he comes back? Will he be still playing? Cause a lot of times you start missing, it throws off your rhythm if you, if you've been playing that well. But then they're going to have tape on Davis Alexander. Now he went like what? He went like 16 of 18. I forget the exact number, but he was fire. The average completion was like 10 yards, but I just don't know if that is sustainable week in, week out here. So yeah, I have some concerns, man, moving forward, but huge win there, and they might need that win.
Yeah, I agree. Good. I feel like this was a good battle by both defenses. Montreal their defense ended up stepping up a little bit more. Davis Alexander was 15 for 18 for 178 yards, 2 touchdowns. Blew Cam Duke's average out of the water with his 9.9. Just getting
random stray.
I'll go ahead and apologize for my sorry Dukes. I'll go ahead and apologize for my DFS play of Saskatchewan's running back. I did tweet out an hour after our show that they said they were going to elevate Frankie Hickson and play him, and that because of his familiarity, he'd probably start. But no, I agree to your point of Montreal. If their defense can't continue to play at this level, if the backup quarterback, we've talked about it all the time, he looks good when he fills in, but then they have that tape and the next game he falls flat. I will say Nathan Rourke got cut by the Giants and went unclaimed on NFL waivers. I don't know how long it would take him to get up to speed in this offense, but Nathan Rourke was on a hell of a streak for the BC Lions before he got injured.
Edmonton better be calling him right now.
Yeah, true. He should get a job somewhere, but no, this game was fantastic. The defenses both played really well. I think these are the two best defenses in the league. Agreed,
but I am look. The reason why I bring this up is like you look at the standings now. Right now, the Alouettes are 6-1. You think, okay, they're going to run away with this. Well, the Red Blacks are only 1 game back. The Argos are 2 games back, and they've split the season total. And even the Ticats have won 2 in a row. And guess what? The Ticats play the Alouettes the next 2 weeks. So you get this hot Ticat team coming in. If they're able to win both those games, which I don't think is out of the realm without Cody Fajardo, that would then, really dice things up in this, and then the way the Argos are looking offensively, it looks like the Red Blacks could run away with it, but it also looks like our future for the Ticats could still be alive. Another thing is the Alouettes, even 3 weeks from now, they're at Saskatchewan. So I would favor, I feel like they should be dogs in the next 3 weeks. Am I crazy?
I'll say 2 of the next 3. I'm sure they're going to favor them in one of them, but yeah, no, I agree with you. And kind of something that's been a little overlooked when I see people talk about Saskatchewan, they've been very, very good at home. That's one of the things that Shea Patterson has done well. He has played very well at home.
Yeah. And then look, okay, after that, they get Edmonton. That should be a win, but it's BC. They get BC after that. And then Toronto, and then Fajardo should be back. But like, those are, you only have one gimme in Edmonton. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and even then with the quarterback change could be different. Saskatchewan loses here. Are they still the top contender in the West, you think?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not panicking yet just because that defense is so damn good. I'm not a huge Shea Patterson fan, but the way the teams are playing, I mean, it's going to be BC and Saskatchewan. I don't think Calgary's catching up. We thought Winnipeg was going to start making that comeback. I'm not so sure anymore. And obviously Edmonton's not. So yeah, I think it's going to be BC and Saskatchewan from the West.
Yeah, we'll see. Still a lot. How many we got? We got 12 weeks left still. Calgary's a wild card there, but I mean, obviously you look at the standings, and I'd say Calgary's the wild card. I don't see signs of life in Winnipeg or in Edmonton. Stick a fork in those two to me.
6 points, Colby. Calgary just scored 6 points.
Yeah, I understand that, but they also beat BC last week. So I mean, they're just a wild card. They truly are a wild card. Yeah, fascinating there. I mean, Montreal only able to run the ball for 33 yards might be concerning as well, but Saskatchewan's defense is really good. So I get that. Gonna talk more about the second game there. Love that we were back to the Thursday through Saturday setup. I'm sorry, Thursday through Sunday setup. Want to tell you, the CFL Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy just launched Underdog Streaks. Hit your first 2 pick'em entries, and then you go streaking. Bring your green hat, and if you can get on an 11-0 run, you can win 1,000 times the amount of money you enter. Plus, Best Ball Mania is live with $15 million in prizes. You can now use specials and boost as well on all flexed entries. So what are you doing? Sign up. And when you do, sign up with the promo code TCESGPN and claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer of up to $250 in bonus cash. Yes, they do have CFL action, folks. Sometimes I hear Canadians saying, I can't gamble up there. Well, you can with this. This is the ultimate play action fake. UnderdogFantasy.com promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by Odds Jam. OddsJam is your one-stop shop for betting the sports books. OddsJam uses millions of data points across every U.S. and Canadian sports book to show you the best value plays for your money. Their line shopping tool shows you the best price for any bet you want to make across countless sports books, not just DraftKings and FanDuel, but BetOnline, Bovada, Cut, and much, much more. Their arbitrage tool is fantastic. You will find opportunities where you can bet both sides of the same prop on different sports books to guarantee a return, positive return on your investment. So what are you doing, folks? If you're interested in trying out OddsJam, you can get your free day trial, your 7-day free day trial. That is free week trial. That's I think that's what 7 days means. Oddsjam.com, promo code SGPN. And don't forget to enter that promo code SGPN because that's going to get you 35% off your first month of your subscription, folks, over at OddsJam. All right, we are back. Let's jump over to the second game. Holy shit. This pick was horrible by me. Calgary. I don't even understand how they only scored 6. It just doesn't make sense to me. We were texting while this game was going on, and it was, first off, Calgary looked super flat. And Ottawa, maybe I am disrespecting Ottawa. You're putting up 404 yards of offense in this league. You have to circle that. And they seem to be getting better each and every week. My guy Justin Hardy had another good game, and obviously my DFS play, I can't believe I didn't win money. I was in the positive Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then Bo Levi Mitchell just went off and everybody passed me. But I think Khalil Pimpleton, what a play. How about this Red Black team? This was a shocker to me. I did not think it would be this big of an ass whooping.
Yeah, I mean, I was on Calgary as well. That was my lock. So surprised me as well. I thought they'd at least be competitive. But, shout out to Radvia Gomez, who ended up, he watched last week's episode, our pick show, at a Starbucks, and mentioned, he texted me and said that he was watching it, and the gentleman next to him was very curious why Pam Anderson was up on the screen during the huge tits parlay part. What a thing to flash up at the screen when you're at Starbucks. But anyways, shout out to Rod. He said that this team was for real. He said this is the best offense they've had. They've had the defense. And I think he's right. I think we have to take, as Drunken Irishman is saying, I think we have to take them seriously because ever since he went out with the injury, I think that was 3 weeks ago, maybe 4. Ever since then, he's been averaging over 300 yards and several touchdowns a game. He just hasn't missed since he came back from that when he was knocked out of the game. So that was against Winnipeg. So I think we have to take them seriously. Their defense is good. Their offense is obviously good.
It's getting better with every week too. I feel like
it is. Yeah, absolutely. I was a little disappointed in both these teams rushing. I expected there to be a better rushing output. I know 77, 79, it looks decent for CFL, but I mean, Raquel Armstead, who had been on fire, 22 yards.
He's kicked out. He's kicked out of the game.
He was kicked out. That's true. And then they had to go to their wide receivers. Dedrick Mills with only 43.
Yeah, that was a dud DFS play by me. Damn it.
better
what's up,
like
dude? Yeah, that's, I guess. Yeah, that's true, but not by much. Yeah, I don't know about Calgary, but hey, Rod, I hope you converted some people, Rod, because look, what does my guy say in Kingpin? Yeah, Bill Murray's character, Ern McCracken.
It's a small world when you've got unbelievable tits, right?
I just love the fact he's at Starbucks listening to watching the CFL Gambling podcast, and Pam Anderson's still doing the thing because I mean that's like she's pretty much on like the Raquel Welch now. It's like she hasn't been relevant in a long time besides this podcast. I think.
Probably trending because of us. That's my guess.
Yeah. I mean, is the sex tape still going around? I'm not involved with the youth. I don't know. Is that still a thing? Yeah, this was a shocker to me. I mean, not that Ottawa won, just the way they won. Unbelievable. Jumping over next, we go to personally, this game was hilarious, man. Like, I think my favorite game was probably this game because of how hilarious this game was. Every time you thought, your team was pulling away, Winnipeg the Blue Bombers at the Argos was just a wild game. That in all seriousness, like the Argos had no business winning this game.
No.
I mean, it's crazy because like they were dictating kind of the like they were in the team that was in the lead more, but like by minute, if you looked at it, I don't have that stat in front of me, but like watching that game, I was like, they were always kind of up, but it made no sense that they were up. Winnipeg doubled their offensive output, but they had 5 turnovers, and some of them were just head scratching turnovers. Like I forget who fumbled. Who was it? It wasn't Oliveira. Or it might have been. I mean, 5 turnovers. I think everyone had a fumble. But I'm saying, who was it? There was one of their wideouts that just like it's just
threw the ball forward.
Yeah, it's like, what are we doing here? The Argos survive. I mean, by the way, I knew that kicker was gonna miss that field goal in overtime for Winnipeg. Just had a feeling. Look, I have a future on Toronto. Very scared about the future on Toronto. Like, I actually believe, especially because Hamilton's only played them once, and maybe I also have a future on Hamilton. That's what's hilarious. I'm starting to have a future on every team in the fucking league. But I am right now. What the Argos are 4-3. So right now, if the season ended, they get in the playoffs, right? And I don't know that they I think by the time this season caps, if this offense keeps sputtering like this, now have we heard anything on Chad Kelly?
I was just going to say, now technically he's eligible for reinstatement after next week because it was a 9-game thing, but the CFL doesn't have to reinstate him. He was tweeting a little bit too much this weekend. I saw it was putting a bad taste in people's mouth. And I'm starting to see on a lot of the social media sites, even Argo fans are saying, like, if they do bring him back, we need to boycott. We shouldn't go to games and things like. The fans do not want him involved, even if he does give them the best chance to win. There's a lot of them that they're fed up with all the opportunities he's gotten as well. So,
well, I'll say this. They need to bring him back because let's be honest, you want to win the Grey Cup, but you got to do like the SEC does with Hugh Strip Club Freeze, the head coach of the Auburn Tigers. They put in his contract, he cannot be on the phone. He does not get issued a phone, right? It's in the contract. They got to say, hey, you cannot have a phone until December. All right. But even with that, it's a risk. I mean, why not? Why not go get Rourke then? I mean, I know you're a Brian Scott guy. Brian Scott should get an opportunity, but man, this offense looked like shit. But what a huge win in that regard. Like, yeah, it's almost like the Montreal win where you're just like, man, those wins are going to mean something. I think in October, you know what I mean? Like these grinded out ugly ass wins, but yeah, Winnipeg certainly was the better team and lost. And that's been the theme of this team all year.
Yeah. Yeah. They're cooked. They're not the same team. They need to, it's in a tough situation of what you do with Zach Claros because he's contributed so much to this organization, but I don't think he can win you those games anymore. Unfortunately. Now I know this wasn't all his fault. The receivers were dropping the ball when they were barely getting hit. It seemed like, but I like how much crap I give to Dukes, and they pulled him after that first quarter. They put in Nick Arbuckle, and he averaged 4 yards per pass. So I mean, he's lighting the world on fire too. I did see that the Argos beat writer and radio host Ben Grant finally in his article, he's had an article almost every week questioning the quarterback play and who they should play. Finally put Brian Scott in there, and I'm going to take credit because I'm blowing his Twitter up all the time on all his posts.
Well, let me ask you something here. Hypothetical here. Let's say Chad Kelly does come back for the Argos, right?
Yeah.
So you got Drew Brown keeps improving with Ottawa. Chad Kelly comes back for Toronto. Fajardo comes back and is playing at the level he was playing at before. And then Bo Levi Mitchell looked pretty fucking good this weekend. But and then let's say Rourke does end up on a team out west, whether it's Edmonton, whether it's Winnipeg. Would Winnipeg actually do that to Caleros and sign Rourke? Would they actually do that?
I see. That's why I think they're in such tough position. Should they? Yeah, but would they? I don't think so.
Dude, you'd think Rourke with Winnipeg, they'd be dominant again for like the next decade.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if all those things happen. Let's just say hypothetically, Rourke goes to Winnipeg. You got Vernon Adams playing at the level he was on bye last week, but who would be the favorite then if all those happen? Now, obviously Winnipeg would have so much catching up to do that you probably couldn't say that with Rourke, but I'd be very curious to think like who would be the best team in your mind then with Chad Kelly, as much as he's a fucking asshole.
Depends. Are you getting the Chad Kelly from the playoff game last year that threw 4 picks against Montreal? I think you still got to go with Montreal because of that defense. That defense is playing lights out. And I know in today's day and age, they say, well, defense doesn't win championships. I disagree. That's the reason they beat Toronto last year in the playoff game and why they ended up winning the Grey Cup. I mean, Fajardo was playing good. Yeah. But that defense was so solid. And I feel like it's gotten better this year.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. It should be for a while. Imagine if Hamilton can catch up a little bit and then you have all of that going on at once, you know what I mean? That would be pretty wild.
It would be.
I mean, Rourke's got to go somewhere. He's got to go somewhere. Yeah. Look, before we get to the next game here, I want to tell you that the CFL Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Rhythm. If you're not checking out the AI picks and props from Rhythm, well, then you are missing out. They just predicted a bunch of winners for the British Open, and their football models are about to drop. You can even customize your own betting models easily using Rhythm's tools. Claim your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. We're also brought to you by Circa Survivor and Circa Millions. Yes, Circa Sports is back with Circa Survivor and Circa Millions, giving away $16 million in guaranteed prizes. Imagine the regret you're going to feel if you win your office pool, NFL Survivor, but you didn't enter the Circa. So instead of walking away a millionaire, you're walking away with $200 cash and I don't know, another $100 gift card to fucking Walmart or something. You know what I mean? Like you're going to sit there and say, what am I doing? Right? Look, you don't have a trip booked yet for Las Vegas before football season. May I recommend Ultimate Contest Weekend? It's a great time to go out. If you do go out to Vegas for that, you can hang with Stacking the Money Green and Real Money Kramer, the Sports Gambling Podcast, and enjoy some of the open bar events at the greatest sports book in the world, August 22nd to August 24th. Plus, if you want to stay at Circa, use that promo code SGP15 to save you 15% off your hotel room for that weekend. But yes, you want to sign up at Circa Sports between now and September 7th. And once you do that, once you sign up, you can use a proxy to play from anywhere. We even have a deal with footballcontestproxy.com to save you $50 with the promo code SGP. So hop on over there. And remember, as always, to let it ride. All right. The final game on the slate was just a royal ass whooping. The stats are, I mean, Trey Ford came in and it made you wonder if Chris Jones and Jarius Jackson should ever be employed ever again. Because how did it take that long? I know, but it's unfair to say that though, because Hamilton's defense has been ass all year. That yes, they were playing good early in the game, but like they probably were laying back a little bit as well. I overthought this one. I knew Hamilton's a better team, but I thought, why the hell would they make Edmonton favorites? So I took a shot. I tried to zig where they zag, and I ate a big old bag of shit. Your thoughts on this game, and is Bo Levi Mitchell back?
As my nephew would say, reverse psychology. That's what the books did to you. I don't know if he's back. He played well. It's hard to say with him because he has shown some inconsistencies, but I think he's good enough for them. I think he's smart enough and he's enough of a veteran that he's good enough for them. On the other side of the ball, I mean, and he was against Edmonton's defense, which has not been very good. On the other side of the ball, McLeod Bethel Thompson, I I don't know how you don't start Trey Ford now.
Yes, you have to.
Yeah, like you said, Hamilton probably holding back some, but Trey Ford is he's a better athlete. He's a better quarterback right now. No offense to McLeod Bethel Thompson. I know he's had a success in this league, but Trey Ford just looks so much more electric. It's night and day difference. You have to start him.
Hear me out here, dude. Like my point on why Hamilton is an interesting one with our future. If they control their own fate the next 2 weeks against Montreal, and not only those games so huge for Hamilton because you can be beating Montreal, who's ahead of you. Toronto is at Calgary. I don't know about you, but like I kind of think you got based on. I mean, I guess Calgary looked like shit too, but Calgary at home has been all right.
Yeah,
I would favor Calgary there, right? And then Ottawa is hosting Saskatchewan the following week. So Ottawa's on bye this week, but like Saskatchewan looks like they could be a team that could. So there's opportunity right now for Hamilton to get their shit together, win both these games. And I think there's a decent shot. Not only will obviously Montreal lose both those games, so you'll close the gap there. I think there's a decent shot that you could end up by that point, tied there with Toronto and just a game and a half back of Montreal and potentially one game back of Ottawa.
Yeah. And like you said, those Montreal games, huge. And I'm sure the coaches are drilling that into them that, hey, if we could take both of these, our odds improve drastically, and let's do it while their starting quarterback is out. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely a path. I'm glad we didn't flush our tickets yet.
Yeah, I was close. It's close. I think I almost threw it in there a couple times, but how bad is Edmonton, man?
They're terrible. I don't know what they need to change because they've made changes over the past 5-6 years, and it hasn't changed the losing culture, I guess. I mean, I don't know what else to call it.
This is what they get for trying to be all stupid with their fucking name. You know what I mean? So, yeah, this is the football gods coming back at you. It's happening elsewhere too in the American football divisions.
But from my understanding, it was actual people identified as Eskimos that complained about this, not just white people that were offended by Indians. So there's a little difference.
I still want to know how many people complained about that. 4? Did 4 people? I mean, look, you have a team called the Bombers. All right. Just got to throw that out there. I know you can try to tell me it means something different, but you have a team called the Bombers. You know what's fascinating, man? Hamilton's offense is by far the number 2 offense in the league. Like, okay, BC's putting up almost 328 yards a game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, 428 yards a game, which is just remarkable in this league, right? But Hamilton's putting up 393. Now that's a big gap from 1 to 2, but let me tell you about from 2 to 3, because they are averaging 18 more yards per game than Ottawa. And then after that, and this is why I think it's so key, because some of those teams besides Ottawa, you're looking at Toronto's only averaging 344 yards per game. So it's like Hamilton's, in a great spot if they can just play a little bit of defense. And even the defensive numbers are confusing to me. Like I tend to think like this is where stats can get diluted, and it's like they make it seem like Hamilton's defense is not that bad, but in my mind it is. I mean it's still charting at giving up 377 a game, but like that's not that far off. Like BC's giving up 373, Saskatchewan's giving up 367. So yeah, 10-yard difference between them and Saskatchewan. You watch them on paper, you're like Saskatchewan is on a different planet than Hamilton's defense. But something to note though, I do think they're playing a little bit better, and I'm fascinated for the next couple of weeks with them. Anything else you want to say about this game here and this performance?
No, not about this game. I mean, it was a good showing. One other thing to add, just to kind of keep your eye on, because you mentioned BC and Vernon Adams. In 1991, Doug Flutie set the single season passing record for 6,619 yards. If Vernon Adams continues on the rate he's on, he is going to break that. And I noticed the books are adding that now. You can bet yes or no on if he'll break that record. So might be watching some history in the CFL. So pay attention if you haven't tuned in.
Well, I don't get the brain, man.
Sorry.
No,
Continue.
you're good. And if you haven't tuned in, there's a reason to.
Amen. All right. Well, now it is time as we. Oh no, not that one. I'll just play this one instead. Let's go. It is time for No Turn J Mark and Cap Bozo, aka Pick Dundee's power rankings. 9 teams, 1 through 9. We're not letting anybody hide. All right. Number 9 is it's very easy. It's that horrible team we were just talking about, the Edmonton Eskimos, and may God have mercy on their soul. They look so bad. But hey, if Trey Ford, that's your number 9, right?
Yeah, I don't know how you can put anybody else below them right now.
Yeah. Now here's where it gets a little interesting, I would say, in building this exercise here. At number 8, you could put a lot of different teams here. I'm gonna go ahead and say I feel like it's Winnipeg. Give me Winnipeg at number 8. Who do you got at number 8?
Shit, I'm glad you said it first. I don't have to be shat on alone by the Redditors because I got Winnipeg as well. I mean, you only had to score 16 points to win that game. I guess 17 to win the game. You missed the field goal. Just a sloppy effort against a Toronto team that did not look good. So yeah, Winnipeg is. I thought they were maybe making a little bit of a comeback, but it was just a little 2-game hiccup where they were winning.
I think if they start Strevler too, they don't listen to me. They're not listening to old Cap Bozo over here. But yeah, number 7, I have to put Hamilton right now, just because I don't know if I still trust this team, but it's encouraging what I've seen the past 2 weeks. But give me Hamilton and let's go Cats. I got a little song for you. Well, Wildcats, but Ticats, Wildcats, it fits. Who's your number 7?
I have Calgary. After 6 points scored, I couldn't put them higher.
You can't tell me Hamilton's better than Calgary. Oh,
scored
fuck
more than
are
6
you thinking?
points.
Okay, man, one can tackle.
You know, that brings up a good point. Watching a lot of the games this weekend, it seemed like a lot of teams could maybe up their tackling drills. The tackling was terrible. But no,
those same 4 people that wanted the Eskimos name change, they said that you can't tackle in practice. So
right,
you know, you're gonna live forever, J Mark. You know that, right? We're gonna live forever. So yeah,
Calgary, you're right. They're a huge wild card. Some of the weeks they look great. Some they look like shit though. And I just don't trust them. I don't trust them to string together enough wins. I think they are close with Hamilton, who you have at 7 here. But right now I trust Hamilton's offense more.
I think Calgary's a more physical team. I could just pick. I mean, Calgary plays Hamilton. They're going to run for 400. But yeah, I will say this at number 6, I do have Calgary just because of the uncertainty. You know who they kind of remind me of, and this is I'm sure people will say I'm a fucking idiot, which is fair. Would be they kind of remind me of Montreal last year.
Interesting take.
I'm just saying, like they're capable of beating anybody. Like Montreal went on a run late in the year. Like early in the year, they were kind of all over the place. We were just like, they're all right, but no. Now, obviously, Montreal's defense played at an elite level down the stretch, but I'm just saying, like, And maybe Calgary can do that. Maybe they can't. I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, they are a team that can, in my opinion, they're good enough to beat every single team in the league. They're also good enough to lose to every single team in the league, or bad enough to lose to every single team in the league. I can't talk. Let's anyway.
I get what you're saying though, and thinking about it. I mean, since week 1, nobody has really bottled up BC except Calgary. So I see what you're saying there for sure.
Yeah. See, I'm not that big of a fucking idiot after all. Where are we at? Number 5 for you?
Number 6, I'm going to personally send James Butler a message and let him know that you say Calgary is more physical than him. I think.
Well, then his defense.
Yeah, I know. I think Hamilton is a good team on offense. Their defense leaves a little to be desired, but as you put out, their numbers aren't that far off from some of the defenses that we say are really good. But yeah, I think this team can do it on the ground and in the air, and that makes them pretty dangerous. And yeah, they've looked surprisingly good, I feel like.
They have. At number 5. The Toronto Argonauts. What the fuck happened? Let me get this straight. I have a future on Hamilton, who, I mean, is showing signs of life. I have a future on Winnipeg. I have a future on Toronto. I have a future on Calgary. I do have a future on BC. So 5 of the fucking 9 teams in the league, I have a future. And I got to check. I might even put some money down on the Alouettes too after like week 3. Toronto is playing themselves at, like, they're going to be number 9 by week 14. But they won. Not really sold on them. Give me them at number 5. Who's your number 5?
Toronto as well. I know I sit here and beat the drum for Brian Scott, but at this point, if you think Chad Kelly is coming back, you're going to have to cut one of your quarterbacks. Cam Dukes, Nick Arbuckle, Brian Scott. They're not going to carry 4 quarterbacks. You're going to have to cut one of them. I think you might as well give him a start to see what he can do. You know what you have in the other 2. You've seen it. Might as well give him a start and see what he can do. And I do believe that he has a better deep ball. I think he's more accurate and can move a little bit better than Arbuckle can. But yeah, until they figure out what they're doing at quarterback, or until Chad Kelly comes back and looks like he did last year, I can't really take this team seriously, even though, like you said, they did win, probably didn't deserve to win. Their defense is still good sometimes. And other times it's getting cooked. So I don't know. This team's really confusing, and they're seeming a little fraudulent to me.
Yes, that is accurate. They are. At number 4, though, I will take the Rough Riders of Saskatchewan. I can't trust the offense, but I can trust that defense. And how long is what's his name out for? Not Patterson, but the starting quarterback. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now.
I think he was also on the 6-game list.
Well, I feel like 5 of those games are over though.
Yeah, he should be back soon. I haven't seen anything if he will be back. I like how neither one of us, all of a sudden, Shea Patterson's in our head and we can't think of his name.
I keep wanting to say Mayer, but it's not. Anyway, let me quickly look, because I feel like a fucking idiot right now. It is Trevor Harris. Yes, Trevor Harris.
Oh yeah.
The ageless wonder. They do have Jack Cohn on this roster, by the way. Just FYI. And Eric Barriere. Yeah, I think they're who'd you have? You had them at 4 too?
I do. I thought I was going to be crazy for putting them under my number 3 team. So I'm glad you're crazy with me here. Yeah, the offense I thought Hickson looked good running the ball. Might have even, I know AJ Alouette is starting to hit some stride now after starting pretty inefficient, but Hickson looked good. They might need to get him some more carries. But again, Shea Patterson, I just don't trust him to consistently win. He wins at home. He's been winning at home for Saskatchewan. But he can't win on the road yet. Yeah.
And so mine are pretty obvious. At number 3, I have the Ottawa Red Blacks. Shout out to Rod Villa Gomez. I know he's excited. This is the first time they've been top 3 since goddamn Reagan administration. So, Yeah. I've been impressed. The offense, I think, is getting better with every week. The confidence growing within the team, the youth at wideout that is emerging, that we did not foresee in the preseason episodes. I'm buying in. The home advantage, the crowd is into it. Let's go Red Blacks. Give me them at number 3. Who's your number 3?
Did we not talk about how good Pimpleton was going to be at the preseason? Did we forget him? Maybe. I also have Ottawa. You can get them right now 10-1 to win the cup if you believe in the team that much. I think it's worth a stab if you don't have futures on 6 other teams, or maybe you need to hedge the loss a little bit by taking them. But yeah, their defense looks good. Their offense looks really good. And like you said, I do think they're becoming more efficient. Drew Brown's becoming more confident each game, and that's elevating everybody on that offense.
Fair. Now I think it's pretty easy for the remainder here. Number 2 is the BC Lions. You can make a case for number 1, especially with those injuries for Fajardo, but I still think until we start seeing Montreal lose, like watch Montreal beat Hamilton both these games, they'll be fine. But I think that gap's gotten a lot closer with the injury, because even with Fajardo coming back, how healthy will he be?
Yeah.
Will that throw off his rhythm? Will that throw off, like that shit changes quarterbacks, man. When quarterbacks get injured for like 5-6 weeks, I've talked to a lot of them, and they've told me stuff like that, like getting in the rhythm of what you're doing. So that might be a reason to have BC number 1. Who'd you have 2? Who'd you have 1?
Yeah, I had BC as well. I agree with you. I believe it's a hamstring injury. I mean, that affects a lot of the mechanics for a quarterback. Not just, I know people think, oh, the legs, now he can't move around as well. It's not just that. You got to put the power through your legs as you throw it. I mean, it's not.
Well,
you're not
and
on legs. Go ahead.
Just the rhythm of 6 weeks not snapping a football. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. He might have some of the rust to shake off as well. It'll set them back even farther. So, yeah, I got BC at 2. I agree with you. Until their defense looks a little bit closer to Montreal's or looks a little bit better, I'm not going to elevate them above Montreal. But I think in the next couple of weeks here, we could maybe be having a completely different conversation. If Montreal does drop these next 2-3 games, we're going to say they're not at number 1 without Fajardo, and there's nothing we can do about it. So they're dropping in our power rankings, in which then I think BC, obviously, depending on what happens, that would be our number 1 team.
Yeah. It's going to be fun this week. Obviously we're going back to, it's good. We have the, what is it? I think the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday lineup again, which is always awesome. Thursday, we get the BC Lions at Winnipeg. Friday, we get Montreal at Hamilton, which I just can't wait for that one. Saturday, we get the Eskimos at Saskatchewan. Not really excited about that one. But I am excited for the Sunday Toronto Calgary matchup. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch all of this. Even with Trey Ford, if I'm assuming he gets to start, we will have you covered with our picks on Wednesday. J-Mark, what's the game you're most excited to watch out of those 4?
Oh, most excited to watch. I'm going to go with Montreal Hamilton. I want to see if Montreal can keep winning, or if Hamilton will gain some on them by taking this week, especially since this one is in Hamilton. And yeah, tune into these games. Don't tell me you want to watch the Hall of Fame preseason NFL game. I'm a Bears fan, and I'd rather watch BC and Winnipeg. So,
without a doubt. All right, folks. Look, give J-Mark a follow on Twitter at JMark Football. Also, check out the Old Fashioned Football Podcast, the UFL Gambling Podcast, and hop on over to Twitter. You can follow the CFL Gambling Podcast at CFL Gambling Pod. Also, follow myself at the Colby D. Check out the College Football Experience, the Stadium Heads Podcast, the FCS College Football Experience, and the College Basketball Experience. We got a ton of shit. Sports Gambling Podcast. Cannot wait for this the Wednesday show, but also the actual fucking games. Until next time, folks, this is the CFL Gambling Podcast Week 8 reaction show. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.